Adrien Broner becomes the new WBA junior welterweight champion by defeating Khabib Allakhverdiev with a 12th round TKO. This was, I guess, a return to form for Adrien Broner against an opponent who didn't really know how to deal with him. The guys who have beaten Broner or given Broner trouble have been either guys who have used a lot of physicality on Broner, like Sean Porter and Marcus Maidana, or guys who have given him a lot of movement, like Paulie Malignaggi. And in fact, those guys use a lot of physicality. You could also throw Ponce de Leon in there as well. He used a lot of physicality and gave Broner lots of problems. So those are the two types of fighters that tend to give him issues. And Allakhverdiev was neither of those. He tried to apply pressure. He's a southpaw. He tried to apply pressure, but he was nowhere near physical enough. And he was giving Adrien Broner far too much space. He was walking him down and trying to land his shots, but he was giving Broner far too much space on the inside. And when you give Broner that kind of space, he does pick nice shots. He is quite slick on the back foot and what have you. And Broner's issue has always been, or one of his issues has always been lack of foot speed. And Allakhverdiev didn't make that an issue. He didn't make that a problem for Broner. He didn't highlight that deficiency that Adrien Broner seems to have by giving any movement. He just walked him down, but he was, in a certain sense, Allakhverdiev was a bit too conventional. If you're going to fight a pressure fight on Broner, you're going to have to get a bit rough on the inside, do a bit of smothering and what have you. Allakhverdiev wasn't doing that. He was a bit too conventional, a bit too technical in a certain sense. Without having the reflexes and the hand speed to be able to compete with Broner, you better get on the inside and make it rough for him. So Broner had his way, picking and poking shots. It looked like he was going to go 12, although Allakhverdiev started to take a little bit of a beating as the fight wore on. It looked like it was going to go 12. But finally, in the 12th round, with Allakhverdiev taking a sustained amount of punishment, the referee decided enough was enough and handed Adrien Broner the victory, 12th round TKO. He's a world champion once again. This time he's got the WBA strap. So we've had Victor Postol knocking out Lucas Matisse for the WBC. And now we've had Adrien Broner defeating Allakhverdiev for the WBA. Could we see a unification between Adrien Broner and Allakhverdiev? It seems doubtful at the moment because to my understanding, Allakhverdiev is with Bob Arum. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe he's with Top Rank Bob Arum. So I know obviously Top Rank and the Al Haymon group or whatever group represents Al Haymon can work together. We saw that obviously with Mayweather Pacquiao, and we've seen that with some other fights as well. But they're not exactly the best of friends. So there probably won't be a rush to make Broner versus Allakhverdiev anytime soon. You're more likely to see Allakhverdiev maybe fight Terence Crawford. So anyway, drop your comments below, people. Let me know what you felt about Adrien Broner's performance. Do you think it was a performance that flattered him? Because a lot of people are going to be looking at that performance and saying, wow, Broner looked really good. But as I just highlighted in this video, it was against a fighter who didn't follow the blueprint of how to beat Adrien Broner, or even the blueprint of how to make things difficult for Adrien Broner. You can't give him that much space on the inside and mid-range. You got to crowd him. When you get into Broner's optimum distance for punching, you got to crowd him. You got to make it uncomfortable. If you make it too technical, he's going to do very well against you. And that's what we saw here. So, yeah, I thought it was a decent performance by Broner. It wasn't a bad performance. But as I say, he was in against a fighter who seemed to totally ignore the blueprints to beat Broner, because they're out there. He's been beat twice and he's had questionable decisions, and he's had difficult fights like his fight against Malignaggi. So there's a couple of blueprints there of how to beat Broner, or at least make things very difficult for him. Allakhverdiev didn't follow either of them. So you have to really criticize Allakhverdiev's performance as much as you're going to praise Broner's. That's just how I feel about it. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below. It's that man, I'm out. And oh yeah, obviously, tell me who you'd like to see Broner fight next if the fight against Victor Postol can't happen. Who would you like to see him fight? And obviously Terence Crawford is another Bob Arum fighter. So who's Broner going to fight? Is he going to have a little reign down there at 140? Maybe he could fight, I don't know who. You leave your suggestions below. It's happening, I'm out.